This is Travel Tuesdays. Every Tuesday, we present you with another incredible country. Today, we're looking at 15 things you didn't know about Toronto. Welcome to Alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get informed. Hello, Aluxers. Today we're going to talk about Canada's second most populated city, Toronto. Other than being the capital of the province of Ontario, Toronto is home to over 2.8 million people. It's the multicultural hotspot of Canada, with minorities accounting for over 50% of the population, so I guess maybe they're not minorities. Perched on the Golden Horseshoe along the northwestern shore of Lake Ontario, Toronto has transformed itself from a quaint Anglo-Saxon territory into one of the busiest and most diverse cities in all of North America. Their motto, "Diversity Our Strength," actually reflects the welcoming heart of the city to all people from all walks of life. With all that said, let's go ahead and take a closer look at this thriving city with the 15 things you didn't know about Toronto. If you're new here, welcome. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at Alux. Number 1. Cursing is not allowed in Toronto parks. Many of us say what we want when we want, even if it involves using a not-so-appropriate word or two. But if you happen to be in any one of the 1,500 parks in Toronto, itching with a burning desire to drop an F-bomb or another profanity, you might want to think twice before doing so. It's actually against the law to use profane and abusive language or engage in violent, threatening, or illegal conduct in Toronto parks. It might sound like a weird little law, but if caught, you could actually get hit with a fine of more than $200. So, if you feel like swearing, just stay calm, or, well, the law doesn't say anything about cursing in non-English languages. Number 2. Toronto is home to the largest underground shopping complex in the world. Guinness World Records has named Toronto's Path as the largest underground pedestrian walkway in the entire world. The Path is an intricate network of several connected walkways, and they're filled with 1,200 stores, including food courts. Over 200,000 people access the Path every day, some to commute and others just to walk around and immerse themselves in the stunning Canadian masterpiece. It's filled with everything a human will ever need to survive, like doctors, pharmacies, clothing stores, a gym, and a food court. It's also connected to over 50 office buildings and towers. So, if you work in any of the connected areas, you technically would be able to live at work if you wanted to. For those of you who want to avoid walking in Toronto's unpredictable cold, rainy, and windy weather, you will find your safe haven inside Path, since it covers the majority of downtown. Number 3. Toronto has transformer houses. Sometimes things aren't what they seem like from the outside. In the suburbs of Toronto, what might look like just another house could actually be an eclectic substation. These are called transformer homes, and it's Canada's way of tucking away the ugly industrial infrastructure inside beautiful mansions and Victorian homes. It isn't uncommon for neighbors to live next to a transformer home without even realizing that it isn't really a house at all. The transformer inside of these faux houses controls the flow of power throughout the neighborhood, so if you live in Toronto and have noticed the house next door always is unusually quiet, then you could be living next to a transformer home. However, no new power homes are being built, and the ones already there are in the process of being demolished because of safety concerns. Number 4. Babe Ruth hit his first home run in Toronto. In 1914, George Herman Babe Ruth stepped up to the batter's box against the Toronto Blue Jays' Ellis Johnson. What followed was a historic home run that's been etched in the memories of both Americans and Canadians, as well as baseball lovers all over the world. Ruth was just 19 when he picked up his monumental statistic that essentially immortalized his career, and it's the only home run he ever hit in the minor leagues, because after this, he quickly found himself with the Boston Red Sox. The ball has never been found, but Toronto has many hidden treasures, and this coveted ball is possibly still buried somewhere waiting to be found. Number 5. The Thompson family is the richest in Toronto, with a net worth of $41.14 billion. Today, the Thompson family is estimated to be worth $41.14 billion. Established back in 1989, the information company giant Thompson Corporation was a result of the merger between Thompson Newspaper and the International Thompson Organization. Up until 2007, the Thompson Corporation was also the major provider of textbooks and other learning materials worldwide. They also owned Prometric before it was acquired by Education Testing Services. In 2007, Thompson Corporation merged with Reuters for $17.26 billion. David Thompson, the grandson of Roy Thompson, the man who started the empire, is now the chairman of Thomson Reuters and also is one of the richest men in the world, with an estimated net worth of $27.5 billion. While, like we said, the entire Thompson family has a collective net worth north of $41 billion. Number 6. Fort York, present-day Toronto, was attacked by the USA. In the early years of the War of 1812, Americans wanted to expand into Canada because they saw the potential of the rivers and lakes to the north as possible trade and transportation routes. In 1813, 2,700 Americans stormed into Fort York, which is present-day Toronto, and defeated the British and Ojibwe First Nations groups who were protecting the capital of Upper Canada. Though a win for the Americans at the time, this battle cost them many lives, and it didn't help either the British or the Americans to gain greater control of the Canadian waters. Number 7. A video of their mayor smoking crack went viral. Former Toronto Mayor Rob Ford got himself tangled up in a video scandal that rocked Canada to its core. In 2013, two media platforms, Gawker and the Toronto Star, claimed to have seen a video that showed the mayor smoking crack and making lewd political statements. While Gawker didn't get to purchase the video, Toronto police made a statement saying they had the video. The mayor's associate, Sandra Lisi, was arrested for extortion. In 2014, another video of him smoking crack came out, after which the mayor left the office to attend rehab. The original video was released by Toronto police after the mayor's death from cancer in 2016. It, of course, quickly went viral. Number 8. Carding was once practiced in Toronto. Carding is the practice of law officers stopping an individual for questioning and documenting even when no crime has occurred. It happens like this. A police officer walks over to a person and strikes up a conversation, during which they ask for identification. Black Canadians were historically stopped more than white Canadians. There was a policy released back in 2017 stating that citizens had the right to not talk to the cops or produce documentation unless in the case of an arrest, detainment, or if the officer has a search warrant. However, there was an outcry for not completely banning the carding process, but the new policy has suppressed random, race-driven check stops to a large extent. Number 9. The pacemaker was invented in Toronto. In 1949, a research team led by Dr. Wilfred Bigelow and his assistant Dr. Callahan tried to supercool the bodies of dogs to see if it would make performing open-heart surgeries on them easier, but it didn't work. An electrical engineer named John Hops was sent to them to assist in temperature-related experiments. When one dog's heart stopped beating, Dr. Bigelow tried something new. He zapped the dog's heart's SA node with an electrical probe. This node is basically the heart's natural pacemaker that sets the rhythm of our heartbeat. The team asked Hops to see if he could create a device that worked on the same principle and could artificially regulate the heartbeat, and that's how the breakthrough happened. By 1950, Hops had successfully developed the first artificial pacemaker defibrillator. Number 10. The Royal Suite is the most luxurious suite in Toronto. The Four Seasons Hotel is internationally renowned for providing luxurious hotels and resorts to people worldwide. In Yorkville, Toronto, tucked away inside the Four Seasons, this royal one-bedroom suite is the most prestigious room you'll find in the city. It costs $16,000 per night and has floor-to-ceiling windows, which give a stunning 180-degree view of the north, west, and east cityscape. It has a gorgeous large dining table with a spacious dining area that seats 8. It also boasts 3 full granite bathrooms, a private office, a private bar, and many, many other amenities that will leave you feeling like royalty. And if you like to vacation in luxury, be sure to check out our video, The Top 10 Most Expensive Hotels in the World. Just click in the top right corner to check it out. Number 11. Toronto has the 4th largest percentage of Italians living outside of Italy. Greater Toronto has close to 500,000 Italians, making it the 4th largest population of Italians living outside of Italy. A significant wave of the first Italians' arrival to Toronto happened between 1881 and 1914. Although Canada preferred immigrants from Northern Europe, Italians still found their way into the nation and worked hard doing physically demanding labor. They first settled in Ward, but then by the 1920s, they started moving west and formed the first major Little Italy. The Italians in Toronto have played a significant role in the transformation of the city into an attractive metropolis. They have helped in its physical expansion as well as in making Toronto an international epicenter of diversity. Number 12. The Toronto International Film Festival is one of the world's largest events for any movie lover. Toronto hosts one of the most important events in the world of film right after Labor Day. The Toronto International Film Festival was first launched in 1976 and has since become the world's most prestigious film festival. It is a 10-day event and is a fantastic platform for new and emerging film creators to show their production in an international scene. The attendees of these festivals are eclectic to the core, and every one of them is a movie fanatic. They aren't just there to spot the stars, they're there to watch the movies because most of the played flicks are going to bag other awards 6 months later. Publicists also use this event to create buzz about specific movies among crowds. You'd see publicists, actors, and directors among the attendees. TIFF tickets are open to the general public to buy. Last year, the event attracted close to 500,000 attendees. If you love film, you'll have to check this out. Number 13. Around 25% of Hollywood movies are filmed in Toronto. If there's a place that should receive an Oscar for being the best actor, it would be Toronto. The city has been shown as Chicago, New York, and many other famous cities in the US. Some amazing movies that you probably didn't know were shot in Toronto are A Christmas Story, Police Academy, Total Recall, American Psycho, and Mean Girls. Hollywood has shot more than 1,500 movies and television shows in Canada. Directors have sneakily found out that Toronto can easily be made to look like New York if they avoid wide-angle shots. So, why do Hollywood producers flock to Canada at such a high rate? Well, because of money. Southern California does have studios packed with state-of-the-art sound stages and expert technicians, but it is very expensive to shoot exteriors after a certain amount of time because the union laws have made it so that the staff gets paid double. In Canada, they do still have unions, but much of the labor cost is discounted. Number 14. Toronto is home to half a home. When you walk down Patrick Street in Toronto, it's hard to miss what might seem like an optical illusion to some. A giant home sawed right down the middle. How did it happen, you ask? Well, sometime in the 1950s, a developer planned to buy a row of 6 similar-looking houses. House number 54 was going to be one of those 6, but the owner refused to sell the property. The company demolished all the newly bought properties for redevelopment, including the right half of 54, leaving it as 54 and a half. It's a bizarre little story, but it's a treat for the eyes. Number 15. Over 180 languages and dialects are spoken in Toronto. Canada is a land of diversity. In fact, Toronto is a city where more than 51% of residents speak a foreign language. It's a place that is even more diverse than New York City. Toronto is home to 37.4% of the total immigrants in Canada, with a majority of people originally from countries like India, the Philippines, and China. The most spoken languages here are Hindi, Mandarin, Italian, Spanish, Cantonese, and Portuguese. So, Aluxers, there you have it. 15 things you didn't know about Toronto. Now that we've all learned some more about one of Canada's most popular cities, we would love to know, have you ever visited Toronto? What was the greatest part of your visit? Let us know in the comments. And as always, since you stuck with us to the end, of course you get a bonus fact. Here it is. Number 16. Toronto's only castle has an unusual story. Casa Loma is one of Toronto's most treasured landmarks. During the Gilded Age, the number of millionaires in the USA and Canada was soaring. The ones who suddenly got rich came from nothing, so they wanted to show off their newfound wealth. And what better way to do that than building a castle? One of these millionaires was Sir Henry Pallet, who spent $3.5 million, which is about $40 million at today's valuation, on building Casa Loma. But Sir Henry only got to live in his castle for a few short years because poor investments and frivolous spending put him into deep debt and he had to sell the castle. Lots of movies have shot portions of the film here, including the likes of Harry Potter and Beauty and the Beast. Thank you for spending some time with us, Aluxer. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. If you want more, we handpicked these videos you might enjoy, or head over to Alux.com for the best in fine living content on the planet. Be a part of the largest community of luxury enthusiasts in the world and tell your story.